Unit 3.
Deviate.
それる
They have deviated from their original plan. Resilient.
回復力がある立ち直りが早い
The human body can be amazingly resilient. Plausible.
もっともらしい
She made up a plausible excuse. Lament.
を嘆く
She is still lamenting her misfortune. Embrace.
主義などを採用する
Most schools embraced the new policy. Enchant.
を魅惑する魅了する
Her charisma enchanted a lot of people. Mandate.
を命じる義務付ける
The state mandated health insurance for everyone. Travesty.
曲解こじつけ
The judge's decision is a travesty of justice. Relegate.
を格下げにする
The scandal relegated him to a mere clerk. Echelon.
組織の段階階層
The fashion brand became popular among the upper echelons of Paris society. Bleak.
見通しが暗い
At present, the economic outlook seems bleak. Malevolent.
悪意のある
The man was giving her a malevolent look.
Tinge.
色合い
The sky had an orange tinge to it. Tangible.
触れられる有形の
The police have no tangible evidence of the incident. Capitulate.
降伏する
The tribe capitulated without a struggle. Abrasive.
態度などがトゲのある不愉快な
He is disliked by all because of his abrasive personality. Antagonistic.
敵意のある
He is antagonistic to all forms of authority. Affinity.
類似性
There is a strong affinity between the two substances. Incarcerate.
を投獄する
Most of the prisoners are incarcerated for drug-related crimes. Improvise.
を即興で作る
I had to improvise a speech at my friend's wedding. Suave.
温厚な表面上丁寧な
The actor is famed for his suave manner. Staggering.
驚くべき途方もない
The woman donated a staggering 1 billion yen to charity. Subjugate.
を征服する
The emperor sought to subjugate the world. Detract.
価値などを損なう
The scandal detracted much from his reputation.
Propitious.
好都合な
This is the most propitious time to start a new business. Embitter.
に辛い思いをさせるを悲しませる
The death of their little child greatly embittered them. Encapsulate.
をカプセルに包む
The nurse encapsulated the contaminated needle for safe disposal. Morsel.
食べ物の一口分一遍
As a vegetarian, she has not eaten a morsel of meat for 5 years. Instigate.
扇動して反乱暴動などを起こさせる
He was arrested for trying to instigate a riot. Slab.
石木金属などの厚板開いた
The table is topped with a slab of marble. Impalpable.
触知できない触っても感じられない
Radiation is invisible and impalpable. Dissertation.
学位論文
She completed her doctoral dissertation on environmental issues. Devious.
制度を外れたずるい
Their way of earning money is devious. Extradite.
逃亡犯罪人などを引き渡す
They have refused to extradite the suspect. Rendition.
音楽などの演奏表現
The audience was moved by her passionate rendition of Chopin's Etude. Incongruous.
不調和な矛盾する
The building appeared incongruous with the surrounding environment.
Entangle.
をもつれさせる絡ませる
The dolphin became entangled in a fishing net. Dump.
ゴミなどを捨てる
Old tires had been illegally dumped in the field. Absolve.
を赦免する
She was absolved of all charges and released. Scrupulous.
良心的な
She has a reputation for her scrupulous honesty in business. Nurture.
を養育する
They have less time to nurture their children. Garnish.
を装飾する
She garnished potatoes with parsley. Inveterate.
根深い常習的な
He is an inveterate gambler. Dissipate.
消えてなくなる
The fog gradually dissipated. Blemish.
傷欠点
It is such a minor blemish that you hardly notice it. Abhorrent.
嫌悪感を起こさせる
Any forms of discrimination are abhorrent to us all. Crunch.
大量の数値を処理する計算する
This new computer can crunch the massive data in a moment. Vehement.
熱心な激しい
Despite vehement opposition, they introduced the system.
Trample.
を踏みつける、踏みにじる。
Her remark trampled the boy's innocent feelings. Repress.
を抑える。
She tried to repress a laugh. Hazardous.
有害な、危険な。
We have to reduce the emissions of hazardous chemicals. Bucolic.
田舎の。
This painter is well known for his bucolic landscapes. Inadvertently.
うっかり、不注意にも。
I inadvertently pulled out the connecting cables. Insipid.
無味乾燥な、面白くない。
I find this comedy program insipid. Savvy.
精通した。
Applicants must be web savvy. Intrepid.
勇敢な。
He was the most intrepid explorer in the village. Edify.
を啓発する。
His book edified its readers. Censure.
公式の非難。
The censure motion against the Prime Minister was rejected. Forensic.
科学捜査の、法医学の。
The police conducted a forensic investigation. Pilfer.
をくすねる。
The clerk pilfered $10 at the register.
Forlorn.
孤独な、惨めな。
The little girl was alone and looked forlorn. Pigment.
色素、顔料。
The pigment contains iron and lead. Quota.
ノルマ、分け前。
She was not satisfied with her staff's quota performance. Eminence.
名声、卓越。
He achieved international eminence as an orchestra conductor. Conducive.
助けとなる、貢献する。
The soft lights are conducive to the quiet atmosphere of the shop. Incinerate.
を焼却する。
This device is used to incinerate waste. Propel.
を推進する。前進させる。
New technology is propelling that industry. Charade.
見せかけ、見えすいたごまかし。
Everyone is saying their marriage is a charade. Solicit.
を恋求める。
The festival board solicited donations from local businesses. Glean.
を苦心して少しずつ集める。
This is what I've gleaned from the literature. Equity.
財産物件の純粋価格。
You need some equity in your home before you take out a loan. Allure.
魅力。
I was on a diet but couldn't resist the allure of the meal.
Malleable.
過炭性の、打ち伸ばしできる。
Most metals are malleable as they can be bent and shaped. Quaint.
趣のある、古風で面白い。
The town still has a lot of quaint old houses. Subordinate.
下位の、位が低い。
The organization is subordinate to the Ministry of Defense. Conveyance.
輸送、
The conveyance of goods by sea takes much time. Peer.
同等の人、仲間。
The child star is popular among his peers. Captive.
捕らえられた。
All of the captive foxes were released into the wild. Inherent.
本来備わっている。
It is the inherent right of every individual. Amenity.
設備。
All rooms have basic amenities such as air conditioning and TV. Build-up.
増加、増強。
The buildup of greenhouse gases causes global warming. Revere.
を崇敬する。崇める。
Mother Teresa is revered for her service to the poor. Pinnacle.
権力、名声などの頂点、絶頂。
Winning the award was the pinnacle of her career. Pallid.
青ざめた。
She grew pallid with anger.
Extrinsic.
外部からの、外的な。
Money and praise are examples of extrinsic motivation. Dispatch.
を派遣する。
The government decided to dispatch a medical team to the country. Concoct.
を考え出す、でっち上げる。
He concocted a false story about the incident. Forage.
食料を漁る。
Bears are foraging for food around the campground. Infiltrate.
に潜入する。
The agency had been infiltrated by spies. Dismiss.
考えなどを退ける。
The chairperson dismissed the proposal as meaningless. Ingenious.
巧妙な、創意工夫に富んだ。
She came up with an ingenious solution to the problem. Embed.
を埋め込む、はめ込む。
Microchips are embedded in the device. Premonition.
予感。
Many people have a premonition that the economy will go wrong. Ensue.
続いて起こる。
They'll have to cope with the problems that ensue from a food shortage. Enroll.
登録する。
She'd like to enroll in a ballet school. Veracity.
正直さ、真実性。
The police suspected the veracity of his story.
Adorn.
を飾る。
The walls were adorned with paintings and photographs. Premium.
保険料、保険の掛け金。
I forgot to pay my auto insurance premium last month. Enumerate.
を列挙する
He enumerated the benefits expected from the project. Regale.
を話などで楽しませる
He regaled us with stories of his days as a pilot. Undergo.
試練変化などを経験する受ける
The country's economy is undergoing massive changes. Persecute.
を迫害する
They were persecuted for their religious beliefs. Saturate.
をぐっしょり濡らす
The constant rain saturated the ground. Distend.
を膨張させる
The children's stomachs were distended from lack of nutrition. Auspicious.
幸先の良い
The team made an auspicious start, winning its first game. Compunction.
良心の呵責開墾
He has no compunctions about lying to everyone. Onrush.
突進突撃
The onrush of technology has brought about many changes in society. Percolate.
染み通るろ過される
A large amount of rainwater percolated through the soil into the drinking well.
Charlatan.
ペテン師大ボラ吹き
Many suspected he was a charlatan. Pander.
迎合する
The media should not pander to public opinion. Apparition.
幽霊幻影
The girl insisted that she saw an apparition at that room. Huddle.
群れる身を寄せ合う
They huddled together for warmth. Creed.
信条主義
The students shouldn't be discriminated by religion or creed. Ambush.
待ち伏せ
The soldiers were killed in an ambush. Coalesce.
グループなどが連合する
Those groups gradually coalesced into a political party. Penitent.
後悔した
She is truly penitent for her sins. Decorum.
礼儀正しい行動上品さ
She always behaves with decorum and modesty. Chasten.
を懲らしめる反省させる
The team members felt chastened by the results of the game. Enact.
法律などを制定する
The new law was enacted at the end of September. Resuscitate.
を蘇生させる
The rescue workers resuscitated a nearly drowned boy.
Adjudicate.
事件などを裁くに決着をつける
They adjudicated the dispute between the supermarket and the suppliers. Denigrate.
人などを中傷する
You shouldn't denigrate any religious belief. Foment.
反乱不和などを助長する扇動する
The government has accused media outlets of helping foment the unrest. Illustrious.
著名な傑出した
He is one of Japan's most illustrious authors. Simplistic.
単純すぎる
This novel offers a simplistic view of human nature. Invigorate.
を活気づける
The cool, fresh air invigorated him. Complimentary.
無料の
That hotel offers complimentary shuttle service. Integrate.
を統合するまとめる
Can you integrate these files into one? Usurp.
権力地位などを強奪する
It must not be allowed to usurp the rights of copyright holders. Parry.
攻撃などを受け流す外す
His shot was parried by the goalkeeper. Foray.
襲撃吸収
They made a foray into enemy territory. Wrench.
をもぎ取る
The thief wrenched the bag from her hand.
Heave.
を持ち上げる積み込む
I heaved my backpack onto the sleeper. Fumble.
不器用に手探りする
He fumbled for a switch in the dark. Slash.
を削減する
The company slashed their workforce by 20%. Void.
喪失感真空
He tried to fill the void left by his girlfriend's death. Diffident.
自信のない
The clerk was diffident about his own work. Postulate.
を前提とする仮定する
The theory postulates several reasons for the increase of child allergy cases. Caricature.
風刺画
The art gallery exhibits different kinds of caricatures. Rectify.
を正す
The government intended to rectify the trade imbalance. Pungent.
匂い味などが刺激の強い
The room was filled with the pungent smell of burning plastic. Deferential.
敬意を払う丁寧な
They received deferential treatment from the hotel staff. Incapacitate.
病気事故などが人から能力を奪う
He was incapacitated by a stroke. Hobble.
足を引きずって歩く
The old man hobbled along with a stick.
Perish.
死ぬ滅びる
Two men perished in the fire. Cogitate.
考える、熟慮する。
We may need to cogitate further on this matter. Disband.
組織などを解散する。
The League of Nations was disbanded in 1946. Erroneous.
判断、学説などが誤りのある。
Her argument is based on erroneous assumptions. Amity.
友好、親善。
The two countries signed the Treaty of Amity and Commerce. Prevail.
かつ、優位に立つ。
The defendant prevails in the civil action. Rejuvenate.
を若返らせる。
This lotion rejuvenates your skin. Debacle.
総崩れ、崩壊。
The failure of financial reform caused the debacle of the cabinet. Procrastinate.
やるべきことを先延ばしにする。
I tend to procrastinate about making a decision. Pinpoint.
を特定する、正確に示す。
They have trouble pinpointing the cause. Reiterate.
命令などを何度も繰り返して言う。
The officer reiterated the order to destroy the bridge. Ecstatic.
有頂天の。
She was ecstatic to have passed the exam.
Proviso.
正し書き、条件。
This article contains several important provisos. Pretense.
見せかけ。
Her illness was a pretense. Supplement.
を補う、補足する。
She supplements the family income by working part-time. Pester.
を悩ませる。
She has been pestered by persistent coughs. Candid.
率直な。
The boss gave her candid advice. Hunch.
直感、予感。
I had a hunch that she was going to win. Evict.
を立ち退かせる。
They were evicted from their apartment. Snub.
を冷たくあしらう。
He snubbed me by refusing to shake hands with me. Legitimate.
正当な、適法の。
He had a legitimate reason to reject that offer. Felicity.
至福、幸運。
She appeared to be in a state of complete felicity. Infraction.
規則、法律の違反、侵害。
He was suspended from school for infractions of school rules. Merge.
を統合する、合併する。
These companies merged to form a new electronics giant.
Lethal.
致死の、致命的な。
A patient died after receiving a lethal dose of the wrong medication. Overrun.
超過する。
The project's cost overran by 30%. Entrepreneur.
起業家。
He is a promising entrepreneur. Nimble.
動きなどが敏捷な。
You'll need nimble fingers to operate the tool. Ingratiate.
を気に入られるようにする。
He is eager to ingratiate himself with his new boss. Mirage.
蜃気楼、幻想。
I have seen a mirage in the desert. Chisel.
をのみで掘る。
The artist chiseled a large block of ice into the shape of an angel. Brevity.
簡潔さ。
Brevity is important when you write emails. Provoke.
を引き起こす、誘発する。
His remarks provoked a strong reaction from other members. Emanate.
考え、噂などが生じる。
The groundless rumor emanated from a certain TV program. Recant.
を撤回する。
1 week later, he recanted his confession. Elocution.
演説法、発声法。
She decided to take elocution lessons to lose her Scottish accent.
Reverie.
空想、無双
The sound startled her out of her reverie. Defy.
に反抗する。
The students openly defied their teachers. Coincidence.
偶然の一致。
By coincidence, I took the same train with him. Astute.
頭の切れる。鋭敏な。
Her novels are filled with astute observations on human nature. Nomadic.
遊牧の。
The nomadic group practices various types of trading. Shove.
を押す。
He shoved the ticket into his pants pocket. Coin.
信号などを作り出す。
He is good at coining new words. Flack.
激しい非難。
She got a lot of flack for her recent interview. Soggy.
湿っぽい、びしょ濡れの。
The bread got soggy with the sauce. Venue.
開催地、会場。
The place is an ideal venue for the summit. Induce.
を引き起こす、誘発する。
The UV radiation induces DNA damage. Poach.
密漁する。
They were poaching in Japanese territorial waters.
Shatter.
を粉砕する、打ち砕く。
The impact of the crash shattered the windshield. Lenient.
寛大な、甘い。
The accused was given a lenient sentence. Infancy.
初期段階、幼少時。
Electric car technology is still in its infancy. Evacuate.
から避難する、立ち退く。
Residents were forced to evacuate their homes due to the hurricane. Din.
騒音
She had to raise her voice to be heard above the din in the restaurant. Mediocre.
良くも悪くもない
The food in the new restaurant was mediocre. Circulate.
流通するを流通させる
The book was banned, but its copies circulated widely. Paternity.
父であること不正
He refused to admit paternity or pay child support. Smother.
を覆い尽くす
The pasta was smothered in tomato sauce. Lineage.
系統血統
He can trace his lineage back to the 14th century. Migration.
移動移住
Human migration to urban areas has increased in recent years. Mandatory.
義務的な強制的な
Education is mandatory for 9 years in Japan.
Cramp.
引きつり痙攣
The tennis player got a cramp in his right leg during the match. Precept.
教訓戒め
This book offers many useful precepts. Ailment.
軽い病気
Headaches are one of the most common ailments. Interstellar.
構成間の
At that time, most scientists believed interstellar travel would be impossible. Synthesize.
を合成する
She succeeded in synthesizing a new chemical compound. Disrupt.
を中断させる
Train services were disrupted due to signal failures. Pragmatic.
実用的な実用主義の
We have adopted a pragmatic approach to solving problems. Fabricate.
を捏造する
The evidence was fabricated. Prod.
を刺激するの注意を喚起する
That sound prodded him back into reality. Spurn.
を一周する拒絶する
The baseball player spurned the offer from a major league team. Limb.
手足
The company is manufacturing artificial limbs. Enlighten.
を啓発する啓蒙する
The preacher enlightened the people.
Expertise.
専門知識
She has expertise in marketing. Perpetuate.
を永続させる
The war perpetuates the poverty in the country. Anemic.
貧血の
Women are more likely to be anemic than men. Defamatory.
抽象的な名誉毀損の
She sued the newspaper claiming the article was defamatory. Delve.
徹底的に調査する
The police delved deeply into the suspect's past. Entity.
独立した存在実態
The north of the country is a cultural entity. Deploy.
部隊などを配備する
The police officers were deployed around the school. Volatile.
状況が変わりやすい不安定な
The country's economic situation is highly volatile. Compliance.
遵守
Compliance with the regulation is required for all of us. Hefty.
豊富な多額の
That case cost her a hefty legal fee. Daunting.
人の気力をくじく非常に困難な
Writing an effective resume in English is a daunting task. Autonomy.
自治権自主性
The students are given a lot of autonomy for their own learning.
Outage.
電力水道などの供給停止
The heavy rain caused power outages, which affected thousands of people. Subtle.
かすかな微妙な
There is a subtle difference between the two products. Muffle.
を包む
The woman was muffled in a fur coat. Adjunct.
非常勤の補助の
She was hired as an adjunct professor at Columbia University. Swirl.
話などが飛び交う
Rumors are swirling about her involvement in the case. Swarm.
群れ
The swarm of locusts moved from field to field. Wanton.
理不尽な無慈悲な
Certain human activities lead to the wanton destruction of the environment. Replenish.
を補充する
Don't fail to replenish the toilet paper. Pundit.
指揮者マスコミから意見を求められる専門家
He is a former professional footballer and sports TV pundit. Consolidate.
を強固にする
The president's visit will consolidate the relationship between the two countries. Momentous.
極めて重要な重大な
Graduation is a momentous occasion for all students. Erode.
侵食される
The coast has eroded significantly over the past decade.
Strive.
懸命に努力する
The politician is striving to present a clean image of himself. Excel.
他より優れる
The student excels particularly in music and art. Impeach.
を弾劾する告発する
The politician was impeached for his corrupt conduct. Espouse.
主義、説などを支持する。
We espouse the belief that learning is a continuing process of growth. Clumsy.
不器用な。
She is clumsy with her hands. Menace.
威嚇、脅威。
Drugs are a menace to our society. Privatize.
お民営化する。
The company was privatized 5 years ago. Disposal.
処分、処理。
Safe disposal of nuclear waste is a difficult problem. Efficacy.
有効性。
The efficacy of the new medicine remains questionable. Integrity.
高潔、完全性。
The judge is highly respected for his integrity. Strut.
誇らしげに歩く、気取って歩く。
The models strutted down the runway in the latest fashion. Revert.
戻る。
He soon reverted to his old drinking habits.
Data file. Contamination.
汚染、
Deforestation.
森林伐採。
Pollutant.
汚染物質、汚染源。
Canopy.
林間、
Habitat.
生息地。
Tributary.
川の支流。
Poaching.
密猟、
Logging.
伐採。
Crust.
地殻、
Plateau.
高原、
Lava.
溶岩、
Aquifer.
耐水層、
Crevice.
岩の割れ目、亀裂。
Geological deposit.
地質堆積物。
Cataclysm.
地殻の大変動。
Gravity.
重力、引力。
Axis.
地軸、
Magnetosphere.
磁気圏、
Magnetic reversal.
磁場反転。
Dynamo effect.
ダイナモ効果。
Precipitation.
降水量。
Hail.
あられ、氷。
Aridity.
乾燥状態。
Drought.
干ばつ。
Mudslide.
泥流、土石流。
Asteroid.
小惑星。
Dwarf planet.
準惑星。
Mission.
宇宙飛行。
Meteor.
隕石。
Proton.
陽子。
Radioactivity.
放射能。
Convection.
対流。
Arsenic.
ヒ素。
Fluoride.
フッ化物。
Petroleum.
石油。
Zinc.
亜鉛。
Amalgam.
水銀合金。
Solvent.
溶媒、溶剤。
Fermentation.
発酵。
Carbohydrate.
炭水化物。
Lactose.
ラクトース。乳糖。
Protein.
タンパク質。
Trans fatty acid.
トランス脂肪酸。
Clamp.
留め金。
Phonograph.
蓄音機。
Thermostat.
自動温度調節装置。サーモスタット。
Circuitry.
電気回路。
Polymer fiber.
ポリマー繊維。高分子繊維。
Cyberspace.
サイバースペース。